Good morning, y'all. This is Matthew 24, part 2. So we're going to read Matthew 24, verse 21 through 35. No, I lied. 22 through 35. Okay. This is 22. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At that time, if anyone says to you, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "There he is," do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, "There he is out in the wilderness," do not go out. Or, "Here he is in the inner rooms." Do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. So that's important information to know, because we don't know when the end times are coming. However, the Bible gives us an idea of what is to come, which is really important to know, because it could literally happen right now or tomorrow. Like, I don't think it will, for many reasons, but it says, people are going to be going about their business, like we read before. They're just going to be going about their business when this happens. People will be getting married, people are going to be in their job, people are going to be having babies, and it even says, "Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath, for then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again." So let's pray that it's not in winter or on the Sabbath. I don't fully understand why, but... And then it's like, in verse 19, this is what I was talking about. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. So, yeah. I pray that, we are prepared, and not, prepared as much as we can be, but, being ready, for God to come at any time, and having a relationship with Him with the knowledge that, He's given me the tools necessary. He's telling me these things of, don't believe this person, if they say this and that, and just trust that God will show up, and that He will show up for you personally, and everyone will be able to see Him. So that's really important to know, so that we're not deceived by those who are like, "The Messiah is here, he's here, he's here," right? We don't want to be deceived by that. Okay. Verse 30. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then all the peoples of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And He will send His angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather His elect from four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Oh, this even keeps going further than 35. Anyways, verse 31, we just read that. And He will send His angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather His elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. 32. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. And what does generation mean, to God? Because the way that we see generation, there's generation after generation after generation after generation that has happened after this was spoken. So it's interesting. Maybe it's saying this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. I'm not going to even try to attempt that because I really don't know. Okay, so that was through 35, and I didn't realize that this was a really long chapter, so it actually goes until 51. So we're starting up at verse 36, and this is the day and hour unknown. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage up to the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a hand mill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So, you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. So this is really important, right? Because it can be very easy to get lost in the things of this world and just caught up in, like marriage and who I'm going to marry and what job I'm going to have and, all of the things that concern the world that we live in. And those are okay things, right? But don't let those things trump your relationship with God. And, you want to have that be your priority, because in the end, it's going to be you and Jesus. That's gonna be your main relationship. That should be your main relationship now, because when you and God are tight and close and you have a great relationship, that will affect all of your other relationships. That will help you to pour out love, because love has been poured into you to overflowing. That's how you'll be able to pour out joy and peace overflowing out of you, because you have been filled. We cannot give from an empty cup. That's why the most important relationship that we should have in our life is God. Because we need his love, we need his joy, his peace, his knowledge, his wisdom. We need to fill ourselves with him, because there's a hole that he has provided within each and every one of us that we will try to fill. And I have tried and still do and continue to turn back to God, but we fill it with things of the world. Whether that be getting lost in a book and just forgetting about life and forgetting about your circumstances and just reading your life away, instead of turning to God. Whether that be alcohol or drugs or, those things, and especially as college students, suppressing your feelings and waiting until the weekend and then just going all out. It's a mechanism of healing and a way of filling those holes within your flesh that can really only truly be filled by God. You will only be healed by God. Anyways, where were we? Oh, Okay, so verse 42. Oh yeah, we read that. So yeah, just be mindful, because you don't know the day nor the hour when the Lord will come. Verse 45. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing what he... Verse 46. It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Truly, I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to him, my master is staying away a long time, and he begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of the servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So this is important, because it's talking about that not knowing the day nor the hour when God is there. And it can be like, this is like a servant, right? Let's say like somebody like asks you to take over their restaurant while they're away in like the rainforest, and they have no service, and so they like for whatever reason cannot get back to you like when they're coming home and all of that, and they're gone longer than you're expecting, right? So then you're like, oh, I can have fun, I can do my own thing, and like you start abusing your what was asked of you, and you can like, oh, now I'm gonna have like parties every night, and I'm gonna shut the restaurant down early, and then I'm gonna have the chefs still prepare meals for me and my friends, and it's like taking advantage of her restaurant, her food, her resources, and then the owner comes back and it's like, I left you in charge and you are partying with your friends. What are you doing? What's going on? And why are my chefs feeding you and you're not paying them for it? Like things like that. So it's just like the same thing of like with God, we don't know when he's coming back, but we should always be in relationship with him, and it's different because God sees everything that we do. Like he's always watching over us and guiding us, and so just remembering that he's there and that he's there for you, not to be against you, not to put you down, but to lift you up and to give you love and peace. And it's important not to be like forgetful of that relationship. And also it's important to treat his people with kindness and love and respect, as he says, when you do this for the least of my people, you do this for me, right? So it's also like, did you like help that person when they were in need and you were in a place to be able to help? Like, did you put somebody down because of your own insecurities with what you struggle with? Are you being a hypocrite? Are you not forgiving others even though you have been forgiven for every sin that you have committed and will commit? So just having a forgiving heart, a loving heart, and trying to continue, we're not perfect, but continuing to strive for that is really, really important. And most importantly, your relationship with God should come first before all else, so that you can be filled and give from a cup overflowing. And that's really the most important thing to God, is his relationship with us, not what we do for him or don't do, but his relationship with us. That's the most important. Alright, y'all. I'll see you next time for Matthew 25. Peace.